Breaking news.
All right. Welcome back.
We did it.
I think we did. Yeah, barely. A little rusty on the controls here.
No worries.
No worries. All right. We I don't know how many you're seeing, but
yeah, I'm not seeing any numbers or anything, but
okay.
I couldn't figure out how to stream to my audience. There's a button that says stream to my audience, and then it doesn't like give me any like code or anything to do it. I don't know.
It doesn't give you any feedback.
There's a link that says stream to your audience, and then it says I have to log in and sign up. I'm not a member of StreamYard, so I don't know how to do that.
Well, oh man. We got time. I could talk. I could talk while you figure that one out.
Well, I'm not going to sign up for StreamYards right now. But I remember we were able to do this before.
You probably already signed up for StreamYard. You probably have an account already.
I don't have an account.
There's no free account, because I know you get a free account. That's all right. I'll carry us through. I want to make sure his audience can see him, right? Because he advertised and all that good stuff. So, what am I doing? Bear with me here, because I'm like getting some stuff set up. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, while Jack is doing what Jack does, which apparently is sign up for StreamYard, we're gonna obviously welcome Jack's back.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you signed up now?
I know I don't have an account. How were we able to do that last time?
I mean, there's two things that could have happened. One, they just changed the requirement, and then two, maybe you're just doing something a little bit differently. It's not streaming at all?
It's not streaming to my audience. I mean, maybe if I followed the link in a different browser, do you think that would make a difference?
Oh, are you using let me take this walk of it.
I'm using Chrome.
You're using Chrome?
Yeah. But Cosmic Road I use a different browser for it, and some of my cookies may be on that browser, Firefox.
Yeah, you want to try, and I can just
yeah, I'll do that. Okay, let me get out. I'll go back in over there.
All right. So I'm just going to talk while we go through some of this stuff. All right. So what Jack and I are going to cover when Jack gets back on, because I don't want to steal his thunder, is all the crazy stuff that happened this year in UAP land. And looks like Jack is back.
Okay,
right.
now I'm hitting stream to my audience. Log in with Google, sure. And
No! All right, he's gonna get it soon. Here we go again. Here we go.
Okay.
We got it?
I'm here.
We got it?
Can you hear? I can't hear you.
Why
can't I hear you?
Yeah, because I didn't change anything. You're not muted. My end.
Oh my God. You have blocked autoplay media. Okay. I am. Allowed. Okay. No. Allowed.
No.
Wow. Okay. Now say something.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
No. Okay, I heard that. Okay, make it say something.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, you heard my daughter making like stimming, which was not ideal. It sounded like somebody was getting like axed by someone, right?
Yeah, I heard a thump. I heard a thump. Okay. All right. Let's see. So okay, now let's stream to my audience and Cosmic Road and title 2023 UFO wrap up, year-end wrap up.
I love how everything's just in time with you. I love it.
Okay, to save changes, public. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's see. I wonder if that. Okay, now I'm going to my channel to see if that actually am I streaming.
You're definitely, you got to be definitely streaming.
Okay, let's see. Live. Yes. All right.
to the 8 people who stuck on, who just stayed on for our technical problems, I appreciate you.
All right, so, nice. Okay.
Noise is the operative word.
Noise.
You know what I'm talking about? You've seen that, right?
Noise. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
The Key and Peele.
Oh yeah, Key and Peele. Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a minute since I've seen Key and Peele, but yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I forget where I said I like accidentally said noise somewhere, and then it was like all of a sudden I got like 60 Key and Peele memes, and I'm like, yeah, I meant to say nice, but yes, noise.
Love it. All
right, so welcome to everyone, and we're gonna talk about here are kind of the topics I have teed up. So year in review. We'll probably speculate. I didn't tell you about this before the stream, but I'm sure we can figure this one out. This will just be us just railing on coin-operated Congressman Mike Turner. Anyway, disclosure, Q&A, and then I know you only have 2 hours, so I'm going to do this as like a state of my channel after you drop off because you don't want to listen to that. That's just nerd talk on my part. But anyway, all right, you're in review. All right, so Jack, why don't you cap it off because you actually captured more things than I did when you were going.
Well, okay, so all right, so Balloon Gate was apparently really important because that led to the White House actually getting involved with UFOs when they had to scramble fighters to shoot down things over American airspace. That actually engage them. Now, I mean, I have no doubt that they've probably done this before, but for whatever reason, this got their attention. Maybe the White House was never directly involved in that. And this time, for some reason, they were alerted to it. I don't know what the deal was there, but
well, I'll tell you what the deal was. The Pentagon had been ignoring these balloons from the Chinese for a while, and then suddenly somebody's like, "Why is there a freaking balloon flying over Montana near Malmstrom Air Force Base?" And it's Chinese. And people were like, yeah, why aren't we shooting those down? Shouldn't we be shooting those down? Right? The Pentagon's budget's over $800 billion a year. And we're just letting them fly over the United States and record. So that's what started it. And then as they kind of, I think, have better sensors right now, they started picking up some other things. And
Okay.
then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, I was actually going in a different direction than that. I was thinking, because there have been genuine UFO shoot downs, for a while, for a long time. That's been going on forever, and we'll shoot at them, they'll shoot at us. It's a thing, but so why now did the White House get engaged? I don't know. Maybe it was because of the balloons. Maybe it was the Chinese balloons. This phenomenon of spy balloons that said, "Hey, there's stuff in the sky we need to shoot down." But mixed up in those apparently were some genuine UFOs. Ross Coulthart talked about genuine anomalous craft in Alaska just days before the first acknowledged balloon. So that's really interesting. And the fighters were scrambled and they tried to get them, but they eluded them handily, as you would expect a UFO to do. It's so weird when we're actually able to shoot these things down. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I don't think it is. I don't know who we're shooting at. We could be shooting at the good guys. But anyway, but yeah, so they scrambled the fighters and the UFOs eluded them. And then there were the Chinese balloon. And then there were the other three objects that we still don't know what they were. They called off the search for the wreckage supposedly in all three cases. That's a weird thing to have happen three times, and for no video or photos ever to emerge. And it was right then when the White House started their own interoffice UFO agency. That's there's something going on. There was something anomalous that happened. I don't know what it was, but it does seem like there was more going on than just a spy balloon. And yeah, you go.
The other thing that they conveniently did was they used the Chinese spy balloon to tuck it into the whole UAP classification to further obscure and delegitimize, in my opinion, the whole topic of non-human craft UAPs as opposed to just balloons. So now balloons would be UAPs, right?
It could have been, but it was at that time that they created their own interoffice UFO agency that apparently had some hand in the Schumer-Rounds Amendment. They were coordinating with Schumer, so something was going on there, something genuine, and they won't talk about it. I forget the fellow who was leading that the interoffice agency. What is his name? But he's been mum. He hasn't said anything. He's been radar silent forever. We know his name. We know he was doing it. I don't know if he's still doing it. If anybody in the chat remembers his name.
Was it Jake Sullivan?
Yeah, Jake Sullivan.
Oh, the National Security Advisor.
Yeah, Jake Sullivan. That guy.
The same guy that decided to blow up the Russian pipeline. But anyway,
I'm not going there, but okay.
yeah. Anyway, I can because I also cover geopolitics, but either we did it or the British did it. There's absolutely no reason for the Russians to do it. But anyway, neither here nor there. But it's the same guy. According to Seymour Hersh, Jack, whatever his name is, the National Security Advisor convened a group of people to plan this event. According to Seymour Hersh, the same guy who exposed the My Lai massacre and all that stuff. So anyway, I'll just leave it at that. We can stay with UFOs because I don't want Jack's audience to bounce on Jake Sullivan stuff.
I try to keep it non-political. I think this.
It's just geopolitics. It's just the National Security Advisor decided that it was worth risking a nuclear war to take out the pipeline and prevent the Germans and the rest of Europe from weakening in the knees because all their energy was tied to Russia. But that's it. That's all. No politics.
Okay. All right. Well, but that guy was heading the interoffice UFO agency. And have you heard him make any public statements at all about this topic? Yeah. Where is this guy? What has he been doing? Apparently, he's a pretty important player in all of this. If he did have a hand in the Schumer-Rounds Amendment and coordinating with the White House and the Congress about UFOs, he is an important player in all this, and he's been mum. He's been mum. Is he a UFO guy, or was he just assigned to this?
No. He's so the National Security Advisor leads the principals meeting.
Hey, Christian. Hey, Shogo Norda, saying hello to someone. Guy. Hey, John Ramirez, how's it going?
Oh yeah, I should start. I don't know what that means. Face fuchsia poop shape. But thank you, John. Sequa Flow, hello from Australia.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Not quite yet, but we'll get there, Ian.
Hey, Catkins.
And Catkins is saying hello. Long live Cosmic Road, indeed.
Yes.
Hello, Shogun Orda. I guess it's a rare treat. You're the rare treat. I'm not. I'm just the guy next to the rare treat.
Well, we just started, Christian, just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. This isn't the John Ramirez, is it?
No, but he's a regular on my channel, and he has always great comments.
Okay, yeah.
He's not CIA John Ramirez, as far as I know. John, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to put him on the spot. Yeah, okay.
And half of that was like technical difficulties, so you didn't miss the first 5 minutes or whatever. He's only got Reef Aggression was in charge of the European area. That's right. Exactly. So Jake Sullivan was a big player in all of this. Where is he? Where is he commenting on stuff? What is he doing?
He does. So like the National Security Advisor heads the principals meeting. The principals meeting, it is an office within the White House. It's actually a very powerful position that coordinates all these interagencies. So like he would have a meeting with the Secretary of Defense, the head of national intelligence, all that stuff. And it's like this cell within the White House that has traditionally coordinated those sorts of things. So like Condoleezza Rice was National Security Advisor. I'm trying to think of other, but it's actually a pretty powerful position. But you're right, though. He hasn't commented on any of this stuff at all, which is kind of weird.
So then there's so there's a balloon gate that was very important because it got the White House involved in UFOs publicly. So the balloon gate, whether they were balloons or not, was hugely important. And according to Ross Coulthart, at least there was one truly anomalous event. Stellaris. No, I don't know about Stellaris. Then you're going to have to enlighten us about Stellaris.
Yeah, I know there was an anthology called Stellaris. It was about like creating colonies and stuff like that, but I don't that I think Baen Books put out, but I'm not familiar with the game at all.
I actually had some people interested in one of my books from Baen, so yeah, they didn't buy it. National community outweighs public interest. I'm very pessimistic about transparency. I don't see how it benefits the government. Yeah, it doesn't benefit the government at all, Christian, and that's the problem. If it were benefiting somebody, obviously we'd be making more progress.
I can go really dark though. I can go really dark and tell you how it might benefit the government, but it's pure speculation.
Okay, speculate away.
Okay, let's take the future humans hypothesis. All right, but it could be any number of different things. Okay, let's say that there are factions in a time war, and one of the factions are the Greys, and in order for them to exist, there must be an apocalypse, basically, in order for them to become real. So then there may be other factions that are trying to prevent said apocalypse. And if you disclose, people start asking questions, right? Where are they from? Why are they here? And if you know that 2/3 of the global population is going to be wiped out, what real advantage is there to disclosing this sort of thing? Anyway, I told you I could go dark really quick. I can go
Yeah,
dark in other ways too.
that's not cheerful. So do you just subscribe to the future humans hypothesis about the Greys, that they're
I
us from
think
the future?
I don't know, but I think in any technology that warps gravity also warps time and space time in some way, right? And when you warp space time, there's some time travel or temporal element. Oh boy, really?
Yeah, you're frozen. You get stuck in time. Hey, it's thematic.
Yeah, I probably you can still hear me talking though, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right,
You can.
so why don't I? This is just Chrome being Chrome. So can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right,
I can hear
yeah,
you now.
I'm gonna. Oh, there now I'm back.
You're okay. There you go. There you
Yeah, unreal. Um, yeah, I probably saying too much.
go. Maybe.
But any element of this sort of phenomena that would be able to travel at speeds that would not even speeds, but in order to travel vast cosmic distances would have some temporal element, right?
No,
So
I
just
mean
by
that's yeah.
relativity, all that stuff. So is it future humans? Maybe. It's certainly possible. Like Michael Masters has a very compelling argument about it, particularly based on um, bone structure and the way the grays look. I think it's the principle of neoteny, right? As a species becomes more advanced, they look more and more like their children, right? So the grays look like little kids, basically. Um, they're their craniums are larger, and everything is kind of like where we're moving today, right? So like people are becoming more nearsighted. Cranial size is increasing to some extent, or at least among some populations. Um,
Speak for yourself.
and
My cranium size is decreasing.
no, it's not. It doesn't change, man.
I'm getting stupider as I get older. It's getting
um,
smaller.
but but there's a lot of like if you look at the morphology of human beings and how they're evolving over time, and you were to extrapolate how we might look if we're selecting for intelligence all the time, and a gray is basically what you get. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
a strong
yeah,
argument.
yeah, no. I've heard that. I've heard that hypothesis before, and who knows? It could be real. Time travel does seem to be a thing, which is so unfortunate because if time travel is part of this equation, which it seems to be, then you can't trust anything. Uh, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the Nazca mummies don't have to be ancient. They could be from the future.
Well,
You know,
and that's the thing. Like, there's so much noise and disinformation that you can't.
you're not a fan of the Nazca mummies.
I, I, look, they look. I'm gonna be. They look fake to me, but that doesn't mean they're fake, right? Like, I haven't spent a ton of time, but keep in mind that all this stuff, all that, like, remember the Nevada, the Las Vegas crash.
Hmm.
Remember that? Like
Yeah.
all this, and then all the stuff in Peru, all this stuff started happening when the disclosure amendment was working its way through. So if you're one of the parties that wants to keep this thing under a rock, you're going to start, blasting the noise into the signal to
It's all a
um,
psyop to make it look fringy.
right. Now
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if any one of those individual incidents are real or fake. I'm just saying they all flooded into the system at the same time, right? And
Well, in fairness, the Nazca mummies were discovered in like 2017 or something.
yeah,
Or made public in 2017. Of course, that is the year that Lou Elizondo came out. So hey, you never know. But I really don't think so. I I've done enough as much research as is possible on the Nazca mummies. I'm pessimistic because the media is asleep at the wheel.
I don't
NBC,
think they're
Top News,
asleep. I think they're just reporting what they're told.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And nothing on the other three. Yeah, that's right. And according to Ross Coulthard, Christian, it's not even just another three. There were actually incidents before the first known balloon, or, I mean, the first one that we know about was a balloon, but Ross Coulthard says there was actually fighters scrambled in Alaska days before the first known event, chasing a genuinely anomalous craft that eluded them easily. And so how many of those other events were anomalous? Because, one of them was a balloon. They won't give us any information about the other three. And they say that they called the search off for all three. How likely is it that they called off the search for all three and they're not giving us any photo or video? I don't buy it. Something went down there. That's when the White House got involved in this. Something went down. Something went down. I don't know what it was. I wish I did. Need to get some remote viewers, remote view balloon gate.
Yeah, that's. I just actually hasn't appeared yet, but I interviewed Ed Reardon and Daz Smith. Man, there's some because I keep getting questions about MH370, and look, it's not my favorite topic. I quickly figured out that our government did something really, really sketchy, and they really don't want people talking about it. So I kind of just interviewed Ashton and then just left it there. But there's something sketchy that went down. I don't know if it's UFOs. I don't know if it's, but there's something sketchy went down, and I'm content to. However, people kept asking me, can you have somebody remote view this? I'm like, man, I don't want to wait. Like, I don't, like, I already know I'm going to, you push too far into this topic, you're going to get yourself into trouble. However, when I was asked, I just kind of mentioned it casually to Daz Smith and Ed Reardon, and Daz Smith is like, oh yeah, we remote viewed it.
I just saw it the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like they did it like a year ago. So and Ed Reardon, who hates esoteric targets, he can't stand them, but he saw like the blast or whatever, like that weird dematerialization sort of thing in his remote viewing.
Didn't he think it was a missile strike? I got the impression from the remote viewing video.
I think so. I think so.
Like as in it was a takedown. And he was,
but there was a flash in the air, right? That's just an interpretation. He may have seen the flash,
right? Well, okay. So that's the other thing. Okay, so let's go over that. Let's go over the remote viewing of MH370 because it's fascinating. So yeah. So
all right, let's not do it too much though, because people are gonna be like, this freaking MH370. There's people either love it or they hate it, but they probably, most people I think love it.
Well, okay, well, look at it this way. Well, we don't have to cover it for too long, but there was some new information. At least to me, there was a remote viewing by some remote viewers that I trust, the crypto viewing team, now called Future Forecast Group, and they do.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Exactly.
Yeah, they do. They're brilliant. They do great viewings. I think Daz has like over an 80 or 90% accuracy rating. Dick Algeier is amazing. They're all great.
And by the way, when you finish this thread, remind me to stay on this because there's other fascinating things that they talked about. So okay. I'm going to preview them, but you can watch that when it comes out next year.
Okay.
But go ahead. Sorry.
I love it. Yeah, so I've been on the fence about MH370. Ashton always has some really good points and some crazy nuances in these videos that is just like, would a hoaxer really put that in there? But maybe they
didn't. They thought it was dead, and then the guy wouldn't sign the affidavit, right? It's like, right?
Well, then like the static, the stock images came up, to debunk it, but the clouds were moving. So, so yeah. But then I saw the remote viewing video from Future Forecasting Group, and they're all connecting to different parts of it. If I end like a gray, that's rock bottom. I don't want to take orders from insects. Yeah, right. Yeah, this is true. That's not, if that's the direction of our future, Christian, that's not like an encouraging direction.
Wait, is that like, the trees have rabies? I love that name. That is the best name so far. That's the best name. Okay.
I love it. There needs to be a movie about that. I'm a horror movie fan. I want to see that.
There is. It's called The Happening. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But so to get back to the okay, there's a theory that propped up. The little green men uplifted very early humans to prepare them to fight a greater threat. Okay. Like maybe, could be. But yeah, so the future forecasting group viewed MH370. They were all connecting to different parts of it. One was seeing, connecting to the passengers in the plane, strapped into the seats. Edward was really connecting to the energy event. He wasn't quite sure what it was. His impression was it was an explosion, maybe a missile strike. But he's not certain of that. Another person was connecting to the falling. Another person was connecting to when it hit the water, there was a big whirlpool and it was sucked under. But and I think he saw it under the water. But you could. We're all.
Looks like you. Looks like it lost you a little bit now. Can you hear me, Jack? All right. Just try to come back on, and we'll keep going. While we're waiting, I'm going to go through some of these comments and try to get us.
Okay,
Yeah, that's possible.
Getting too close to the truth.
All right. So whirlpool. That's I think that's where
okay. But you could interpret those in different ways, right? You could say there was an energy event that they can't identify. There was a whirlpool. You could interpret that as the portal, sucking them somewhere. So I think it was a brilliant remote viewing. I've been waiting for them to do a remote viewing of that, and it turns out they had done one a year ago. So it was brilliant, and it has me more or less convinced it was probably a takedown, and the leaked video was to cover that. It was, if you have a crazy conspiracy theory about MH370, you're one of these crazy UFO nuts. Put on your tinfoil hat, guys. But really, it could have been a takedown for some reason. And
people were really pushing. Like, the only reason I decided to take on the topic was people were IMing me on Twitter saying, you need to do this, right? Which, could also be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be the intelligence community trying to discredit people.
Well, whoever put out the video apparently had some inside knowledge, because they knew some of the satellite details before they were publicly known. So it was either an inside disinformation campaign designed to cover a shoot down, or it was a genuine leak, about a genuinely anomalous event. And because it could be interpreted different ways.
That's where I am. The whole superconductor hypothesis, I think, is not. The reality of the whole thing is that there were 20 scientists and engineers on board. 12 of them were Malaysian, 8 were Chinese, and the DoD had just signed a contract with Freescale Semiconductor in 2013 to develop gallium nitride semiconductors, which are specifically used in satellite communications, radars, and other things like that. And if you had those mugs flying to China, and there were a lot of other things like there's another podcaster who's got a gigantic following, who told me that one of the guys that he interviews, who's like an FBI guy, was scheduled to be on that flight, and he was his flight was canceled near the last minute. So I think it was a focus on those scientists and that particular technology, and our government kind of just wanted to make it go away. I'm not going to say anything more. It could be, or it could be the other, like the crazy hypothesis that some ETs showed up, and because going back to the Daz Smith and Edward Reardon interview, they also did a remote viewing. You could probably find it on their paranormal viewing channel of was it? No, this is even better. So Pat Price, you know who Pat Price is?
The remote viewer?
Yeah, the famous, extremely gifted remote viewer.
Yeah.
Daz Smith just came into possession of a 48-page document, remote viewing exercise that Pat Price did, where he wanted to understand the nature of the phenomenon and whether or not there had been broad infiltration of the U.S. government. and U.S. society. And spoiler alert, according to this remote viewing session, there absolutely was. One of the things that he looked through was he did a remote viewing of the
Infiltration
Bermuda
by
Triangle.
ETs.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But
Okay.
he also did, as part of this, he did a remote viewing of the Bermuda Triangle. And he saw he described almost exactly what you saw in that MH370 video, where they would dematerialize the plane, they would like take the people out, and then they would do some pretty brutal things to them. Anyway, the other stuff that he saw, you've heard about these 4 bases, right? That Lynn Buchanan talked about, right?
I mean, I've heard Lynn Buchanan and studied him, but remind me about the 4 bases.
So there's one in, according to this remote viewing, and I think Lynn Buchanan did something similar.
There was one in Australia, right?
Yeah, Mount Zeal in Australia, Mount Hayes in Alaska, Mount Perdido in Spain, and then there was a place in Zimbabwe, but I forget what it was. And they each had like very distinct. I think like Mount Hayes was a communication node. The Zimbabwe one was like a parts center, like where they would repair craft. I can't remember what the other 2 were, but anyway, these things were in there. But he also, it's a 48-page document. He also asked the question, are there any parts of society that have been infiltrated? And it was like education, the military, government, academia. And he had it down to the parts of like the president of this university has been compromised. And I asked more questions, like what does that compromised mean? Does it mean they're a hybrid? Does it mean that they've been like
hacked,
invasion of the body snatchered, right?
Yeah,
like
no.
And he couldn't answer, but they can't release it yet. I think he plans to release it on his personal website, remoteviewed.com. And I think he plans to do it toward the end of January. My interview will appear before that, but it's pretty disturbing. Like it's not black and white stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're warring ETs. Some are good guys. Some are just kind of just doing experiments on humans. And there's
what do they need to experiment on us for? What are the experiments?
I don't know. He didn't go too much into it. The other thing that they were saying is that they were trying to play individual human countries against each other so that we didn't become a threat in the future. Which, I mean, if you look at what's going on, in the last 2 years, I mean, it's been an absolute clown show, right? So I'm not saying this is true or whatever. This is a remote viewing session. There's no way for him to verify it. But it was Pat Price, and Pat Price is the same guy who remote viewed an NSA facility and was literally reading project names off of folders in a file cabinet and getting them correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that guy is the one that claimed all this stuff. So anyway, that's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming.
Sounds like a great interview. I'll be there. I'll be watching.
Yeah. So I just finished editing the audio today. Yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd just lay that out there. Let's see what other comments we have right now. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Yeah, I hope it's not true. I mean, it's one of my least favorite hypotheses, but there's also really good evidence for it.
Well, time manipulation definitely seems to be a thing, and some of these craft can seem to go outside of our reality, outside of space and time as we know it. And so, I mean, they are time machines just by their very nature in that sense. And so it makes sense that they could pop in and out of time, whenever they wanted, because they can literally go outside of space and time.
Well, so I think there's also another element too. I think there's also part of this is the ultra terrestrial hypothesis, right? So there's there's probably much more advanced beings living here that might not be in meat space, may be exactly as you said, outside space and time. So like the Bledsoe entities
Right.
might be an indicator like that, right?
Well,
Um,
one of my favorite experiencers is Peter Maxwell Slattery. If you're familiar with Peter, are you familiar with Peter Maxwell Slattery?
no, say more.
Okay. Well, there's a movie, there's a documentary. You should check it out called Multidimensional on Amazon. A documentary about him. I've been following him for a few years before that movie came out. He appears as a guest with James Gilliland on ESETI. Sometimes he's actually a partner with James Gilliland. Are you familiar with ESETI? ESETI Ranch?
No, no.
Is it Oregon or Washington? I forget. Where there's the paranormal mountain and the UFO mountain where all the UFOs. So there's this guy named James Gilliland that has a ranch overlooking this mountain. He's a near-death experiencer and a contactee of beings. And there's a lot of activity. It's one of those hot spots where there's a lot of UFO activity and also paranormal, spiritual, metaphysical activity.
By the way, graphic design for free keeps saying hi there, so we should.
Hey, graphic design, how's it going?
All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No. Happy to chat. But yeah, so ESETI, this awesome ranch overlooking this UFO hotspot, and James owns the ranch, and you can go there and camp out and watch UFOs, and it's really cool. And anyway, so and he does this whole thing. He's very metaphysical and very mystical.
By the way, really quick, Manny Rain raises a great point, right? Big sky, little aircraft. So yes, it's hard to catch everything.
Sad but true. But anyway, so yeah, Peter Maxwell Slattery is a friend of James, and I think they've gone in together. He actually manages a different location of the ESETI project. And anyway, so Peter is a high level experiencer. He's been to other dimensions. He's one of these guys that has been to other dimensions and stuff. And he had a team of, or maybe multiple teams of 40 remote viewers remote view his ongoing lifelong situation. And it's just incredible the stuff they come up with. Oh, and Peter has like more UFO videos than pretty much anybody of stuff that, that has come to visit him and that do displays for him, including this one really cool one that is this higher dimensional vessel. And it's this geometric shape. When you have the two pyramids, they come together. What do you call that?
It's like a dodecahedron or something. Is that even
it's something like that. It's not a dodecahedron, but like
isn't a dodecahedron like a 20-sided die or something?
Yeah, like the the Star of David is a 2D representation of the shape. Anyway, a really cool contact that he's had, and a lot of it has been conscious and that he remembers, and he's written books about some of these contacts. And he says that only about the bottom 10% of the phenomenon that we see in the sky is nuts and bolts stuff from another planet. He says the vast majority of it is other dimensional, and who knows? But it's hard to corroborate that.
Right, you can't. You can't.
He knows more about it than I do, but I would love. More data. Need more data. But I do think a lot of it is more dimensional.
All right, we got the next one. Yeah. All again, fair points. I don't know what it is, but we should do eat. What we got? Oh yeah, you see my owl hats?
No, I haven't seen your owl hats.
So it's the owl that like landed on my back fence and let me take like 1,000 photos of it. So I made a bunch of made like I don't know what's it called, like an icon, and just put it on a bunch of shirt. Merkaba.
Merkaba.
Yeah.
Thank you, 1971 Murdoch.
Yeah, this is Michael. Yeah, Dr. Michael Masters. There's a guy. I'm not going to mention him. What's that? Uh-oh. You got technical difficulties again. Oh man. That's all right. I'll go to solo layout until you come back. And then well, let's see. I can get through a lot of these things pretty quickly. I appreciate that, Derek. Um I was about to say that I'm going to come back or try to get him back because he had his um he was actually contacted. There we go.
I don't know what's going on. My internet keeps on going out. That's weird. It doesn't usually do that. I don't know. We're being hacked. We're being monitored.
That's fine. I'm not allowed to comment on the mommies, apparently.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, I do encourage you to investigate the mummies and to research the topic because it's fascinating, and there has been so much research that has been done on them, including live CAT scans by a director of a good hospital in Mexico. We have the chief pathologist of the Navy in Mexico that has studied them.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying they're real or they're fake. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm just saying that they, on the surface, they look like paper mache. I'm not saying that's what they are, but they just. I'm waiting to get more information. The problem is if they are real, certain factions within the U.S. intelligence community will continue to exploit the fact that they don't necessarily look real as a defense against that. So I don't know if
I
we're
mean,
ever
you
going to
can
get to the
take
bottom of
genetic
it.
tissue of them, you can carbon date them. They're they appear to be real. There's nothing.
You can, but how do you know? How do you know? You know what I mean? Like we live in an era right now where a government agency will just say things like, "Oh, a bat bit a penguin, and then they ate a penguin and virus," right? And like people are
I'm
like,
not going
"Yeah,
there.
yeah," right? Like so that's the problem of the world we live in right now, right? Look, I'm not
Okay,
pushing
you
back against
froze.
it. I'm just
Am I out?
you're frozen again. Oh man. All right, I'm just gonna try to get through these. Yes, they do. They absolutely do great work. Um, yeah, I won't have you the okay. Let's see. It's possible. I don't know. You're talking about MH370. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert on. Um, but again, it could fit the fake, i.e., someone in the intelligence community faked it to make something what really happened obscured. Oh yeah, yeah, that they definitely predicted that one. Here we go. Here we
I don't
go.
know what the hell is going on.
That's
Let
all
me.
right. Like I literally anytime you drop off, I race through the comments. So
I don't. Yeah, this is odd. This is weird. This
so
is
this is just
weird.
the remote view, like Daz and Daz Smith and Reardon and the rest of those guys, Dan Algieri, whatever they did predict
And
it.
Dick Algeier, Daz Smith, yeah, all Edward Reardon, and there's several other really good ones over there at Future Forecasting. Yeah, I've been following them for a while. Yeah, I was a skeptic on remote viewing too. It just seemed way too woo woo and weird a few years ago. Now I'm all about the woo woo and weird. I love it because that's where the truth is, and I've had some experience with it, and got to get the word out. But
Oh, this is interesting. Derek
uh,
Galloway. He's got some info on Ashton.
oh my god, I don't want to spill dirt on people. But okay,
No, he's not.
Derek.
He's not gonna say anything.
Okay, Derek, what you got?
No, yeah. Just yeah.
Hey, Don. Okay, well, graphic design, they have done DNA testing on the mummies in all countries. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, so you think there are
Hmm.
mummies in other countries? That's an interesting thought. I like that.
All
Uh,
right. Let's see.
yes. Oh,
MIB.
Christian says, I was talking to a theoretical physicist who had a talk with Nick Pope, and he wouldn't let Pope finish. I messaged him and showed him the documents and told him to watch certain episode of Skinwalker Ranch. I love that show. That is a great show. Uh, yeah. Hey, Don,
Apparently,
how's it going?
the plane wasn't the same model. Okay.
Hey, Don. Just want to say hello. Shout out to Don. Yeah, John Ramirez. I don't know about MH370. After watching that remote viewing, I'm inclined to think that it was some sort of takedown and then disinformation. But Ashton keeps bringing up these nuances of these videos that I have a hard time thinking that would be included in a hoax. But I don't know. I don't know. I've been waiting forever for a remote viewing, and then the remote viewing comes, and it can be interpreted different ways. There's a whirlpool. There's an energy event. uh you know i I but it looks like it was possibly a takedown, but I don't know.
Something sketchy clearly happened. That's where I am.
Something sketchy happened. Yeah. Either way, the person that put out those videos had inside information, so it was either inside disinformation designed to cover up something sketchy, or something anomalous happened. I don't know which one. Wait to hear Deacon Bledsoe's God and UFO. Deacon Bledsoe. Well, why didn't he test the spirits according to the New Testament direction? I think that's a dig at Chris.
Yeah, that's a dig at the demonic. I don't know. What's the New Testament's directions? I don't. Um, it's a fair question.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Christian Morales. he said it a little bit less diplomatically
well,
than I did.
I read that as a dig at Christian, as Christian roots. But correct me if I'm wrong. So let me know more what you meant by that.
Yeah.
Don't they have enough DNA by now? Are we still on an unfinished project? You mean like? I mean, I thought we were doing DNA on the mummies, but you may be talking about abductions.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
I don't. We might be an unfinished project, but they also have their own projects of creating hybrids and stuff. So is their project finished? I don't know if we're finished. If they're upgrading us periodically and this is our final form, that's a job half done, guys. So
Yeah.
but they do have their own projects as well. They're creating hybrids, and they are among us. They are
So
among us,
something was
guys.
incredibly vague. I'm not sure what was, but I'm sure we'll figure it out what we're talking about. Oh, thank you, Astro J. Yeah. It's that case is just an extremely intriguing case. The most intriguing. I mean, for me, what caught my attention is the intelligence community showed up and put him on lockdown. Like that's weird. That's always weird when that happens. So it just means that where there's smoke, there's fire. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I love the Bledsoe story. I study it intently. Every little nugget I can get, I just devour. And Chris, if Chris is going to go to Utah in 2027, he thinks the lady might appear at that cliff in Utah, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
And
Butler's. What's it called?
yeah,
It's like Butler's Wash or something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to be there if it's a public event. It's funny how as soon as we start talking about the UAP issue seriously, geopolitical tensions happen. The same
Mm-hmm.
happened in the 40s. I mean, I can't blame the Cold War on aliens, but how much power do they have? Christian, that's a great point. And Sean was just talking about that, how he had some information that beings may have infiltrated our governments, maybe causing divisions amongst countries, so we don't get too powerful. And, that is a possibility. And if I was a nefarious alien, that's probably what I would do.
I mean, we do the same thing to third world, like countries in the developing world, right? So why wouldn't somebody outside do that? The same thing. Hi, UFO Hub. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who they is.
The beings, I guess.
Yeah, that's the other sketchy part too, right? Why can't they, if they're completely benevolent, why are they kind of hiding in the shadows, right?
Well, I guess one interpretation could be the bad ones don't want to get caught, and the good ones are not wanting to interfere overtly, and they're trying to raise our consciousness steadily. Like the Phoenix Lights. There was a mass UFO sighting, but they did it at night. It's that kind of thing. Any updates on Lou's book? Yeah, I think the furniture raking is due to start in January. That's what I have heard. That's just when the dominoes are going to start to fall. I think Lou's book isn't coming out for a few months. Let me drop a truth bomb, which was reinforced by all the discoveries that JWST has done. Remind me who's JWST is?
That's the James Webb Space Telescope.
Okay. Oh yeah, fire, like actual open flames, are a uniquely Earth feature. Fire isn't. How is fire? I'm not getting that. I don't know what you mean. There's fire doesn't exist outside of outside.
I mean, anywhere where there's like oxygen and heat, you're gonna have fire.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to disagree with you there, but with the whole fire thing being local to Earth. But you can expound on that in a comment. Let me know what you think. Atmospheres and other planets and galaxies do not have the proper gas.
I don't know. I can think of like another moon in our like Titan. I mean, the whole place is explosive. Right? Yeah, I mean, it's like methane and I don't know.
Aren't there stars all throughout the universe? So
Yeah, you went with the obvious one I should have thought of right away. I mean, that's the entire thing's on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's like a thermonuclear reaction. The whole thing.
Yeah. I'm not feeling that one, but if you can back that up, please do. Please do. Yes, ultra terrestrials. Yeah, ultra terrestrials. Absolutely. I think those are a thing. I think that everything's on the table, and it's to some extent it's all going on. UFOs are. Well, that's what some say. UFOs are. It's all. And it gets weirder. They're not just ultra terrestrials, but then you get into ancient epics of humanity. Atlantis, Lemuria, or whatever you want to call them. You don't even have to call them Atlantis or Lemuria, but ancient civilizations that had some sort of high technology, maybe not like we do, but it's hard to argue there was some sort of ancient civilization that had a global impact.
Shout out to you.
Classic Road. DJ Trigger. I like that.
Merkaba. You got the
Merkaba. Yeah, good catch. Good catch, Merkaba. Yeah, I just totally blanked on that. I know that. I know that one. I actually used it in one of my books. Yeah. Where's the weather? Oh yeah, okay. Well, it was a 2-hour podcast. I didn't want to get hot, but okay. The audience is demanding the leather. Okay, all right. Where's the leather? Here we go.
There we go.
All right. Now it's a party. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I should have noticed that you weren't wearing the leather.
Okay, here we go. Okay, the audience has spoken. All right, there we go.
Even with our technical difficulties, I think we're doing okay.
More badass now. Okay, all right. Thanks for the pep there.
Samuel says hello.
Hey Sam, how's it going?
It's not exactly.
Yeah, that's right. I got scruff, but I don't have the skill.
Hello, Samuel. Pleasure to see you as well, my friend.
Dadgummit.
I've been trying to get him on the show. I'll keep pushing.
Oh man, that would be epic if you could get Tim on.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. But I just got to be careful about talking about who's that guy? Coin operated congressman from Ohio's 10th district. Mike Turner. He's the best.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, I mean, Tim might be very happy to rag on Mike Turner. I mean,
he's not going to rag on somebody else. Like, same like a member of his party who's on the intelligence committee, right? He'll be.
Well, I mean, apparently Mike Turner has really come out against him and become an enemy of his. Isn't he the guy that's funding one of Tim's opponents? Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Mike Turner is.
I mean that's where my memory is. There is
that guy is such a slime.
Yeah. So I mean, anyway. Guys in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. And
that one's for you, Jack. You see that? Yeah, that one's for
69 you. 69 viewers. 69. An alien hides.
Yeah, maybe I should interview West Virginia mountains.
Sound like an entertaining guy. The mummies, I was
Yeah.
skeptical, but I did look into it, and they seem to be authentic. They do. I do separate them from the UAP issue. I always knew if they brought out bodies, people wouldn't believe it. Yeah, I was really surprised when David Grush came out talking about biologics, and that's how I knew he wasn't part of a controlled plan. Because I figured if there was a controlled plan, they would start with the ships, right? Simple nuts and bolts ships. That's all there is to it, folks. That's all we've got. But
I think it sounds like, again, I don't know if this narrative is true, but it sounds like they were planning on doing this disclosure, but they wanted to do it a little bit more tepidly, right? Maybe start out with the James Webb Space Telescope. Hey, there's conditions on Epsilon Eridani, this planet, and then they want to slowly walk it through. And then I think Dave Grush just came in and is like, "We got craft, we got bodies," and they're just like, "Oh." Right. And now they have to kind of. It feels kind of like that may be the case, but I don't know.
So you think there was a disclosure plan, a slow roll, and then he just came in like a wrecking ball, and now they've got to come in and redo the whole thing from scratch?
Yeah, because I think there's an event. I think there's an event that is. When was Roswell? 47, right? So, 80 years after that gets you to 27, right? Or is that right? 2027.
I'm not going to do math. I had a guest on the show the other day trying to get me to do math. I'm not falling for that trick again.
Yeah, so 80 years, 80th anniversary. Maybe they had some. I'm making this up. I have no idea, but maybe they had some long-standing agreement where they're going to show up at a certain point, and the U.S. government has just been delaying, and then they're like, "Oh crap, we probably should let people know that this stuff is real before they show up and people panic and stampede and riot and all sorts of crazy things." But I don't know.
So do you think something is coming? Something like maybe in 2027? Or
I think there's an event. I think there's something external that's going to happen that requires them to prepare us.
Well, I think, what was it, Paul Hillier, who at some hearing or other was reading the book, the Jim Sparks book. If you're familiar with the Jim Sparks abductee contactee story, really interesting, amazing contactee story. Started off very hostile, to the beings and very against them, and they were not very friendly. And one time they suffocated him because he wouldn't cooperate. They took out all the air out of the room that he was in the ship. Anyway, but then eventually his experiences went on. He became very positive and very pro beings, and eventually he assisted them in group abductions. Yeah. So, but the beings told him that there were agreements with governments. And
that sounds like Stockholm syndrome, doesn't it?
Well, okay. So according to the Edgar Mitchell Foundation, and you know who Edgar Mitchell is, right? Or was the astronaut?
The astronaut, yeah.
Well, according to and they've done a lot of research into these abductions. Hey, Don. Well, anyway, according to them, 8 out of 10 abductees that have been taken 10 times or more have a favorable view of their experiences. So is that Stockholm syndrome? Is that something else? I don't know. Christian says he didn't have time to do that, and I offered him a free week in a nice house in Puerto Rico if he read the documents and watched the episode of Skinwalker Ranch, and he couldn't do it. What? I want to go to Puerto Rico and watch Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, I mean look, I've been to a property that was adjacent, and the owner of Skinwalker Ranch, I'm not going to say his name, is extremely, well, I don't even know if it's him, but his legal department is extremely litigious. So if you try to if you try to put Skinwalker anything in any of your, you make a T-shirt, like his lawyers are on you like white on rice.
Right. Right.
It's like it kind of pissed me off, to be honest.
The Corey Good deposition. Did you ever see the Corey Good deposition? Trademark.
Yeah, he's the secret space program guy, right?
Yeah. Well,
and people started claiming that they were also part of the secret space program, and he basically went after them. It's just like, dude, you're killing your credibility.
Totally. Okay, but getting back to the thought about Paul Hellyer and Jim Sparks, Jim said there were like agreements between the governments and the beings, and the beings that he was aware of and dealing with wanted disclosure, and there was a timeline. And the governments hadn't been cooperating, but the beings were going to force the issue. And so, could that be what we're dealing with? In 2026 or 2027, could the beings force the issue and have some sort of
they can do it anytime they want.
they can tell it anytime they want it. Yeah, I kind of wish they would.
All right, so what are we looking most forward to? So David Grush op-ed, Luis Elizondo interview book, Bob Lazar movie experience, firsthand whistleblowers. Oh, that reminds me. Also, Daz Smith did like 2 remote viewing things for Tom DeLonge, and he couldn't talk too much about them, but one of the things he did talk about was he's remote viewing Greys, and he basically said that their ships were alive, their suits were alive, they were about 2 microns thick, and they also like had consciousness.
Consciousness.
The suits had consciousness.
Yeah. Wow. I knew the ships had consciousness. I didn't know the suits had consciousness. That's crazy.
Well, according to this remote viewing, which he can't, there's no feedback. So,
No, but I mean, and no, remote viewers 100%. And it's better if you have a team of them. I feel more comfortable and confident in that information. Did he do that with a group, or was that a solo project?
I can't remember.
But Daz is like 80 or 90% accuracy or something, and he is really good. He's really good, and so
we should answer this question though. Like, what's gonna? I think we're gonna find out for real, because I think Biden wants to get reelected, and I think this is something that could be pretty popular.
You think it could be a campaign issue?
I mean, look, there's not enough people who are interested, let's be honest, that it's a campaign issue. But I think if the geopolitical environment heats up enough, I think it might come out in the sense that like there are bigger things than us. We shouldn't be killing each other.
If it came out, then it would become a campaign issue. If like there was a leak,
but it's out. But it's been out. It's been out since July, and everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, right? Like we have bodies. We have bodies of non-human beings that own and craft that are generations ahead of anything that we have, and the mainstream media didn't even blink. They didn't even blink.
Okay, all right. But I'm just throwing this out there. Apparently, Richard Dolan had a guest on the other day, and one of my viewers alerted me to this because I've seen this guest. What's his name? It starts with an L. And he was saying that the government might raid one of these facilities of the control group.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Well,
it sounded sufficiently cynical to actually ring true. Right? Like they just want to blame like one of these aerospace defense companies and use them as a scapegoat. Right. And then like, which is that tracks. That's exactly what the government does all the time. Right. Totally tracks. Right.
Well, so, I've talked about that before, about the possible tensions that exist between the private parts of the control group and the government parts of the control group. And I think that is an intriguing dynamic. But where I was going with that is if something like that did occur, and I don't expect that to occur, but if it did, and that information was put on the news, and we had a UFO on the news from a raided facility, that would force the issue. Then it would become a campaign issue. So I mean,
Yeah, but
theoretically,
I don't think it would play well for Biden, right? Because he's been in government for 60 years, and the guarantee he knew something about. I guess he could play dumb. He could probably play dumb. But do you feel humanity is headed for extinction or new evolution? I mean, on the current trajectory, extinction for sure. But I don't know, Jack. What do you think?
new evolution. Well, I live in hope, my friend. I live in hope, Rich. The being. Some people think the beings are upgrading us, and in that case, we're going through a continual forced evolution to make us better. If they've been upgrading us for thousands of years, I don't know why we can't be disease resistant and live for hundreds of years. So they could be doing a better job.
Well, it's
Uh,
because it's like Drosophila flies, right? You got to have lots of generations to get that evolutionary, thing going. So you got to
maybe,
have short lives. Short lives. Boom, 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 boom.
yeah,
That's why.
yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
If they're upgrading us, right, over
Yeah.
time.
But can't they, like, I mean, aren't they like shouldn't they be like masters of genetics? Shouldn't they be able to like snap their fingers and uh
Look, in the first few, like if you take Betty and Barney Hill, like they were using genetics techniques that we were using 6 or 7 years later, right? Where they were like sticking a big needle into the amniotic, like just so I don't know. The one thing we assume is that they're so far advanced, but maybe, and again, it could just be like a Buck Rogers universe where there's like thousands or millions of different species. In fact,
okay.
I did another interview with Dr. Kevin Knuth, and I think I think he did like this statistical, or no, he did this like statistical project to see how long it would take a more advanced species to find Earth. And I think he went through like how many civilizations would be able to find Earth. And I think it was like, I'm going to screw this up, but it was something like 3,000 easily. Right. So, I mean, there could be millions out there. Who knows? So there might be one species that's just not that advanced. They just figured out any gravity before they, figured out other stuff. I don't know. There's a big thing that I don't want to say his name because he doesn't want to be too prominent. But apparently, back in the 40s and 50s, they were taking these things down with proximity fuses, right? So I don't know. Maybe they're not as advanced as we think we are. Because if we came into like a slightly less advanced civilization and wanted to control it, we would make ourselves look like gods, right? Just to uh, psyop the hell out of whatever that species was,
Okay,
right?
all right. So that's a great point that you raised, and it's a weird point because the phenomenon has evolved according to what we can accept, apparently. Like the UFOs used to be much more
With
nuts
like
and bolts looking,
rivets and yeah,
rivets
which would
and
doesn't make any
stuff.
sense in the
So,
vacuum of
so
space,
okay,
right?
and so I was watching Ryan Bledsoe, and I've heard this information before, but it registered on me anew when I was watching Ryan talk about his dad's experiences. And he was during that first experience. It can Oh my god!
All right, I'll when he comes back, I'm just going to go through these in rapid motion so that uh, who knows. Okay, this is the test for the Bledsoe entities. All right, so that's New Testament, John 1:4. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out what that is. Yeah, I talked to Brandenburg about this. I did an interview with Brandenburg, and the stuff that they found um is, there's some uranium, there's lithium, thorium. A lot of these things are consistent with a nuclear weapons signature, either nuclear weapons signature or these spherules. or consistent with like an Orion drive type situation, which is a nuclear drive. So, but I haven't checked on anything latest in the Oumuamua news. Anything on the Oumuamua new? And by the way, this is not just Oumuamua. It's some of the. I'm going to talk about some of the work that Avi Loeb is doing when he did those trawlers in the South Pacific to collect those spherules. But I haven't heard anything on Oumuamua recently. Jack, have you heard anything?
I am so not interested in Oumuamua. I mean, that is just so boring to me. But what's exciting is that Avi Loeb is doing it, and that he is engaging mainstream science in the study of ufologies, and by that he is engaging the mainstream public, who will take him, looking for spherules and Oumuamua a lot more seriously than they would, Chris Bledsoe. Right. Talking about, the lady, goddesses and stuff. And so, but Chris Bledsoe is exciting. He's dealing with a freaking goddess or whatever, right? That multiple people have seen, and so the CIA and NASA are so interested in her.
Well, the night before I interviewed Chris Bledsoe was the night that the owls showed up, and they haven't left since.
Did you have any other anomalous events that happened around that time?
Well, you've seen the owl, like we just talked about in the very beginning. I got 1,000 pictures of him, and I got within 5 feet of this owl, like this great horned owl.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna waste everybody's time showing his picture for the 11th time. But if you want to see what he looks like, just buy the hat.
Go buy Sean's hat, guys.
Just go to the spread shirt shop, and you can
love it. I love it.
You can find Marvin.
Okay,
I call him Marvin.
To get back to my point, we were talking about the evolving phenomenon over time, and what Ryan was talking about his dad's experiences, Chris Bledsoe, during that first event. There was this like cone of light or shaft of light or this ship, a vessel of light. There was this other dimensional ship that came around him and to him, and when he went aboard, he was seeing buttons and dials and stuff. But
oh no. Sorry, we'll get through. But by the way, Shogun Orta, thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to read your question. Do you think if the government partially discloses, but says there are no abductions, you think people want to believe catastrophic disclosure baked in the cake? Yeah, I don't think any credible effort at disclosure where you don't talk about this abductions. I don't think they're going to get right to it. I don't think they're going to lead with it, but I think they'll eventually get there because they're going to have to. Nobody's going to believe them, and then you have the catastrophic disclosure thing. Interesting. I can't. If you get a chance, remind me what the rat scene was. That is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't. Who knows? Who knows what's on the dark side of the moon? Yeah. I think reality. You have to have contrast. You have to have good and evil, and I think there's probably some species out there that don't share our objectives or intentions. Just have the different intentions than we do. Oh yeah, sorry. That's as above. Yeah, as above, so below. Absolutely. Yeah. I would put. I think Mike Turner is definitely a nominee for that. At least this year for me, he's up there. Coin operated congressman. But yeah, I've heard that too. All right, I think Jack is back, but device is not connected. There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Can you say?
I did a reboot. Hopefully that will fix it.
It's all right. It's going to happen to me again too. But
I don't know what's going on. It doesn't typically do this. So either something's wrong with my computer, or I need a new modem, or something going on.
We're talking about stuff we shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Yeah, but
that's the entertaining answer. It's probably not the real answer, but
probably just a modem problem or a computer problem, but or connection problem. Anyway, but yeah, so Chris was taking aboard this other dimensional ship. He's seeing buttons and dials and levers and stuff, and the information that he's getting is that no, this is a representation, so that you can understand what you're looking at. It may serve the function of a button and a dial. It doesn't look like that to the beings, or that's not what it really is. But he can see it as a button and a dial. So were people seeing rivets and screws on these UFOs because that's what they could accept and relate to? Was Betty Hill being stuck with a very large bore, needle because that's what she could accept? So I don't know the answer to that, but it would be a good question to get an answer to.
Okay. Are some ultra-terrestrials engineered by extraterrestrials? Well, okay, I'm gonna go like ultra woo in this one. I'm just speculating. All right. I'm not endorsing this. But let's say Bigfoot is real, and let's say Bigfoot lives on this world as an ultra-terrestrial. There have been some descriptions, particularly with the ranch, remote viewing ranch, the remote viewing, the ranch, I forget what it's in Colorado, where they had like the fuzzies and all that stuff, where they would see ETs, but also see these Bigfoot-like beings. And there was this incident with this Bigfoot-like being. They were trying to explain to a human not to touch this box, and they had this big giant Bigfoot-like entity touch it and then just pass out from the pain. So look, it's possible. And that's an example of a story that people claim to have seen in that ranch in Colorado. So it's possible. And that would be the example I would use.
I mean, thank you, Dimitri.
Yeah. Jack and Grant Cameron. Yeah, I should have. Grant Cameron's always game. He's always game for.
I love Grant. You've had Grant on your show, right?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah. Grant is great. I love Grant. And I would love to talk to Grant. I mean, I don't know how to get in touch with him, but I would love to have him on the show.
How did I get in touch with him? I'll send you his email afterward.
Okay, that'd be great. I
don't know how I found. I think I just did an internet search for it, found it, and just like blindly emailed him, and he responded.
Nice, cool. Atmospheric auction. Oh, okay. It's very cosmic seal. Well, okay.
I don't know if it cannot. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know either. AK Crazy Fool says he reported both of us. We've been reported. All right. Thanks, AK. Somebody had to do it.
Are we humans also cryptids? Or maybe. Who knows?
If the aliens are trying to raise our consciousness, we are doomed. I know, right? Yeah, they could try harder.
Yeah, Tim Burchett is definitely the man.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to get through a lot of these because I have no idea how many of these there are. I have a sinking suspicion that there are like many, many comments. Yeah. The next one's down sulfur and selenium. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably right. He does talk really fast. But YouTube has a little function where you can just watch him at like half the speed. Right.
Nice.
So I watch a lot of shows at 2 times the speed because it actually, once your brain gets used to it, you can absorb a lot more material. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what Jack was saying, that he was finding,
Yeah,
like, a
that,
rival
that,
to
that seems to be
chat.
what's going on. So yeah, I don't think Tim would have a hard time ragging on Mike Turner. He was,
DS must be one of your fans. I'm glad he likes me. I don't know why,
yeah.
but
Sean's a good guy. He does great interviews with fantastic guests. Anton
interesting.
Petrov has been doing amazing work covering.
Yeah, we
Okay,
should check that out at some point. Yeah, because because we do have this like ridiculous resource, right? That's out in space, taking watching all this stuff. But it's just question is like how fast is does NASA own JW, like the James Webb Telescope, or is it somebody else? Because if NASA does, like, they probably scrub everything they find really quickly before anybody else can
I
see
know,
anything.
right? Yeah, yeah.
And then they claim we don't have the data. We don't have the data. Um, yeah, Grush definitely made the ish hit
He
the
did.
fan.
He did. Love it. I'm hoping those 40 witnesses that he interviewed will come forward, or some of them.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
yeah.
I'm hoping that's some of the furniture that's going to get wrecked.
Something is definitely coming.
well,
You just
well, when
when did he find out wrestling was fake?
yeah,
I'm sorry, anyone who just had their reality shattered from this comment from the West Virginia mountains.
But if an alien enters wrestling, I will start watching wrestling. Yes, yes.
I don't know. I think you like Grace would get beaten pretty badly.
Well, they can control your mind.
I guess, but like to us or to them, we're probably like gorillas, like silverback gorillas. If you don't control your mind, it's just like I mean, Christian, thank you very much. Let's see, sensitive topics. People in the know get nervous. I don't know if insiders. I mean, you can never really tell when insiders get. Well, I mean, there's stuff that's not related to the phenomena that insiders get really, really scared. Usually, you can tell when they make like really super declarative statements, like the freest and fairest and things like that. Grab your wallet immediately when people start speaking in superlatives. That's when they have something to hide. Always. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I think it's 2026, but
That's what CIA John Ramirez says.
If we survive that, if we survive that,
Chris Bledsoe says the lady says 2027.
Oh, he's saying that now? Because he told me September 2026, September 23rd, 2026. He told what's his name?
Well, if it's
Jeff Mara.
If it's 20, if Chris told you 26, then go with Chris's information.
Well, he told Jeff Mara March 2026. So I think there's an issue with the translation, because I think somebody the date is whenever the
star alignment rises over
the red star Regulus aligns with the eyes of the Sphinx at dawn. So if there's somebody who can tell you the exact date on that, that's
my first information on that was not coming from Chris. It was somebody that had decoded that, and it was 2027. But apparently they got it wrong, and that just got lodged in my head if Chris is saying it's 2026.
Yeah, but again, I don't. I think he just made a mistake. I don't think he was
go with Chris's information.
Let's see. Yeah, it is going slow, but keep in mind though, like there's a very small percentage of the population that's actively following this, and for us,
it's not going slow. I mean, I know it seems like it's going slow. Yeah. You're totally right. I'm so annoyed with how slow it seems to be going, but just think how much progress we've made since 2017 when Lou came out of the closet. I mean, it's been amazing. Turner is in cahoots with the bad aliens.
I think he's too stupid to be in cahoots with anybody but his wallet.
Well, he's a pawn of the control group, and the control group may or may not be working with the bad aliens. It would not surprise me at all if the control group were working with nefarious entities.
Yeah.
But we don't know. That's why we need to expose them and find out what the hell is going on. And they're shooting at beings. They're making deals with other beings. They've involved humanity in a cosmic conflict, and we need to know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. So this is about I'm curious about what the catastrophic disclosure timeline means from the Seoul conference whiteboard. I'm not sure what the whiteboard is, but at the Seoul conference, there's two things that Nell said that kind of freaked the audience out. The first was like the NHIs have a vote. So if there's any form of disclosure, what are they going to do? Right. And people are like, oh, I didn't even consider that. The second thing is, what if a peer competitor announces it? Right. Like, what if the Chinese say, yeah, they're real. Your supposed democracy has been lying to you for 80 years. That would not play well in the US, and it would play to China's advantage. So, and frankly, like, if they did that, I would trust them more than our own government. If they, which is a lot, which is saying a lot for me, because I don't.
But if they were going to do that, wouldn't they have done that long ago? Why would they do it now?
Well, you do that, and then you invade Taiwan. you just drop as much chaos. You just drop as much chaos into the U.S. political system as you can, and then do your thing while they're completely distracted with internal strife and chaos. Anyway, sorry, my brain thinks that way. So, oh well, they're not. I mean, Bledsoe's claim is that Hal Pavmeyer said that they because he was an expert on the moon, the NASA guy, who claimed there were like mushroom shaped buildings on the dark side of the moon. So yeah, I believe it. I think NASA knows about this stuff, and I think they just airbrush everything and suck up our tax money and don't deliver anything in return.
There's actually various points of corroboration about structures on the moon. That's seems to be a thing, and also probably Billy Mars. So yeah.
Huh. Yeah, Three Body Problem is the one by, it was like a Chinese author. And it's supposedly a pretty good book, but I have not read it. But I've had a friend who used to work in the intelligence community. He's like, it's actually a very good book. Or ship. Yeah, maybe, but they can't be everywhere at once, right? And that's the problem. If the ship appears over your head, right? Unless it's like in a massive stadium on TV.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it were another Phoenix Lights incident, but during the daytime, that would do it. Or a Phoenix Lights over a few different cities. Because the Phoenix Lights, actually, that one ship moved across the whole state and part of another state. So, it was a huge scale thing. You don't trust Tim Taylor? Well,
I think you mean Tim Taylor, or do you mean
Travis Taylor?
Travis Taylor.
I don't trust him. Travis. Is it Travis?
I don't trust him either. The reason I don't trust
Travis. No, that's hearsay. Travis is awesome.
No, let me lay this one to rest. First of all, he was working for the DoD at the same time he was on the ranch. Okay. And he's just like, I was just doing my thing. I was just, I was working for. And then the second thing is, anytime they make a major discovery, he's not there. Remember when they felt like they had a really high resolution video of the orb? He wasn't there for that. The other, the second piece,
security camera.
But they never get this stuff when he's there. The other thing that is just like boggles my mind.
He's been in most of the major stuff. When there were UFOs disappearing into the mesa during the Native American ceremony, he was there for most of the big stuff.
All right, well, here's the most damning evidence. You're familiar with like what 1.6 gigahertz is, right? It's literally iridium sat phones that we, like, our special forces use. So like Delta uses, they transmit at that frequency.
Well, that's what alerted him, and that's why he contacted his people in the DoD to say, "Hey, I think there's some foreign skullduggery at Skinwalker Ranch," and that's how he became the chief scientist for the UAP task force. He partnered up with Jay Stratton, and
that's interesting, isn't it? Let me play that out. Okay,
Okay,
Hey
okay, play
guys,
it out. Play it out.
you got any Delta teams out there? Why, yes, we do. But don't worry. Why don't you just come on board? No problem. We could use you a little bit. Let's just try to record some of this stuff. But when we're starting to talk about apportations, just make it kind of go away. Just make that stuff go away. And that's what he's been doing ever since.
No, they've no, that's nonsense. You haven't been watching this show. They've discovered
Look,
evidence.
That guy will not talk to me because he knows. He knows better. He
He's
knows
discovered.
I will sniff that out.
Okay, but that's not true though. They've discovered evidence of portals, things under the ground, structures or tunnels under the ground, all sorts of crazy things that they have discovered on that property that he has been part of. Now, does he know things that he can't say, like some of what our assets are doing? Sure, he does. And of course, we have people that are monitoring that situation very closely. But no, he doesn't seem to be doing anything nefarious.
You know the company that he joined, right? Radiance Technologies.
Mm-hmm. With Jay Stratton.
You know those guys are allegedly trying to put a freaking nuke on a UAP propulsion system. You know that, right?
Okay, run that by me again.
Yeah, they're putting a nuke on a allegedly, according to Sheehan.
Well, yeah, that's Sheehan. I'm sorry, I'm not going by Sheehan.
He's more right than he's wrong. He's more right than he's wrong.
Sheehan says a lot of stuff. Sheehan says a lot of stuff.
Look, I'm not saying that Travis Taylor is all bad. I'm just saying he's working for the government. He's dual hatting, and he's keeping some of the stuff that your government doesn't want you to know. He's kind of keeping that off to the side a little bit and doing his best to.
None of them can reveal all they know. And that's just unfortunately the way it is.
I know, but there's stuff that they discover on the ranch that he makes go away.
There's too many people involved in that investigation and the production for him to be able to do that. So I mean, it's not like he's controlling anything, any aspect of the investigation or the production. So I'm not seeing that. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree. Am I out again? Oh my God.
No, you're still. Oh no. All right, that's all right. I can get through some more of the. I trust Brandon Fugel, but you know, I don't trust. I also don't trust Travis. I think he's a good guy, but I don't think he's 100%. All right. All right. Well, welcome, aka Crazy Fool. Yeah, probably. Oh wow. Yeah, I think so. I think he claims to. Yes, Daz Smith is absolutely amazing. 3D glasses with both lenses stapled together and taped over your smartphone will show. Huh. Now we'll see. I hope so. Yeah. I think there's something behind that.
I'm back.
Sorry, I got through.
Okay,
that's a fight. A fight amongst thee. I don't know. Maybe that's the Travis Taylor thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on Travis. I think that Lou, Travis, David Grush, they all know stuff they can't talk about, and that's just the way it is. But I don't think there's anything nefarious going on there. But your mileage may vary. Christian says, yeah, the scapegoat thing totally tracks, but I don't know, man. How can you sacrifice Lockheed Martin? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. If you were going to sacrifice somebody and make them a scapegoat, you probably wouldn't pick Lockheed Martin unless they were doing something behind the scenes that was like, rocking the boat too much or something.
But the government would do something like, hey, we just gave you this thing, don't worry, we'll take it. And then the moment they can throw you in front of the bus, they'll throw you in front of the bus. Right?
Oh, absolutely. That makes perfect sense that the control group would be looking for a scapegoat. I totally buy that. I
Thank you,
totally.
Astro J. I don't know which one you sub to, but hopefully you sub to both of us. Okay. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I mean, they could also be they live here and we're screwing everything up, right?
Well,
So
they do that a lot. They do that a lot with experiencers. We were talking about Jim Sparks earlier, and there's they were basically brainwashing him to be pro environment. Not that that's a bad thing, but they were hooking things up to him, and that was some of the marks that were left on his body. He discovered where it was from this gizmo, where they would make him look at images of nature, beautiful, lovely nature, and he would be made to feel really, really good. And then they would be make him look at scenes of devastation and apocalypse and catastrophe and pollution, and he would be made to feel really, really, really terrible.
it's like the Clockwork Orange. You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Where they have his eyes like pinned
Made the
open.
mistake of I made the mistake of trying to get my wife to watch that movie, and it was not.
Oh, that like when I first met my wife, that was like mandatory view. I'm like, this is my favorite movie. And she's just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? This guy's crazy.
Well, she made me turn it off after about 15 minutes, unfortunately. But they show people scenes of devastation and catastrophe and apocalypse and ruin. And
it's a Lodovico technique. It's the Lodovico technique from from.
Well, the general thrust of it does seem to be you need to be better to the environment and the planet, and I don't think anybody's arguing with that. But they kind of did torture Jim Sparks into believing that way, and that's not real groovy in my book. So
there's also simulation theory, and it could be that too. Let's see.
I believe this is a created reality. I wouldn't call it a simulation exactly, but it is a created reality.
Yeah, Rick Doty. Yeah, Rick Doty's been coming out, hasn't he?
Yeah, I actually talked to Rick a little bit the other day, just a few words here and there.
Where was that?
On Disclosure Tonight. They had me as a guest on Disclosure Tonight. Fessler and Rick Doty is apparently a regular guest on that show. And we had a couple of words. I mean, we didn't have a big conversation or anything, but I actually got to have a few words with the legendary and notorious Rick Doty. It was very interesting.
Yeah, he got Paul Benowitz to suicide himself.
I didn't ask him about Paul Benowitz.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been.
That was not like an icebreaker. That was not the icebreaker. But yeah. Hey, Rick, what about Paul Benowitz? Yeah, it didn't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I already know the answer. Like, well, it's actually a real shame, because he was getting close to some of our conventional projects, and we just, he just came up with this UFO thing, and I just encouraged it because it got him away from these conventional projects. That would be his answer. Anyway,
but I will say that Rick did seem very sincere. Now, could he be a very good actor? Yeah, he could. They are out there. Please relay to Courtney Brown that it may be worth trying his photo technique during the total eclipse. But yeah, I don't know what I think about Rick Doty after having met him.
Yeah.
I
have mixed feelings about.
I used to think that he was a total disinfo agent. Now I don't know.
The thing is, like, he was doing his job, right? He's just doing a job. So that's the one thing.
Well, I mean, since he's retired, I mean, he was a disinfo agent. Is he still a disinfo agent? Is the question.
Maybe he might still have a contract, right? Who knows?
Well, if the UFO control group has a cause they are working for, and they're not just doing it for money or power, and he's been read into that, he could be a believer in that. So please relate to Courtney Brown that it may be worth trying his photo technique. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, Courtney Brown is doing some interesting UFO research, and this I used to follow Farsight Institute back when Dick and Daz were over there, but when they left Farsight, I also left Farsight. Now I'm just going to follow Dick and Daz everywhere. Also, I just like saying Dick and Daz. Hey, Triton.
Hey, Triton.
I know. Yeah, I totally agree, Kevin. It all has a purpose. I was abducted. Yeah. Yeah. Sam has told me about his experience. It's an amazing.
Oh, Merkaba. Yeah, it's like a Merkaba, right? Wheels within wheels. Spherical. I don't know. Huh. Yeah, it's kind of like an angel.
It's an amazing experience, Dan. It really is. Possible connection between mounting UAP activity and potential coming disclosure and recent AI advancements, such as the connection with AI is really interesting, because isn't that the book that Lou Elizondo said to read if you want to get some insight into all this? Is Chains of the Sea? I think that's the name of the book, which is about.
It's a novella, right? Is this the Gardner?
I haven't read it. I need to read it. I need to. If Lou says to read it, I should probably read it.
It's creepy. It's creepy. I think my understanding is that these ETs are coming, and I don't think we realize it, but the AI that we created does, and the AI that basically, and apparently there are a bunch of other much more advanced species, and the species that shows up is considering wiping out humanity, and we're just dumb and blind, have no idea about it, and the AI, it considers the AI to be a superior life form, so it's fine. It's a really dark.
Yeah, I had read the synopsis of it, and that's about what I read. Yeah, and by the way, if I go out again, I figured out why, because it told me last time I logged back in. It said if you're having problems, you need to switch the browser to Chrome, and that's what I started using in the first place. But I switched to Firefox because I couldn't remember my cookies and how to log into StreamYard. But yeah, apparently it doesn't like Firefox. I'm having trouble.
I've been to Mount Shasta and I saw nothing, but that doesn't mean there's nothing. But it's supposed to be a huge paranormal hotspot.
I know people that have been there that have had cool experiences, but they were more of the metaphysical kind.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, there's like 3D glasses. If you put them up against your iPhone, you can see UFOs. Apparently,
cool. I gotta try that. Don't do it, Sean. Don't.
You know what, Sean. Though? Like, I'm not sure if this is a joke either, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's like lots of like weird dream stuff has been happening.
Okay, Shogun Orta says the Merkaba looks like the Jewish Star of David, but a 3D version. Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Shogun Orta. And Kill Dragon says Merkaba is Hebrew for chariot of the god. Yeah, cool. Good information.
All right, so Kill Dragon, this is exactly 3D glasses with both lenses stapled together, taped over your smartphone camera.
Oh, Zug Legal Carpet says it was a joke.
Okay. All right, because there's, like I said, there's been some weird dream stuff going on. Hey, my man, how you doing, Mac, tonight? Good to see you. All right. Oh, looks like he's. Oh yeah, because we can now be seen on Twitter now too, or not seen, but like comments can come from Twitter, which is why you got both. Yeah, agree. The objections on our part to disclose.
Yeah, how can they disclose that? And that they're assisting in the abductions.
Breathe liquid. Ooh, this is from The Abyss, the movie The Abyss, which apparently, in the much more granular or refined version with I think 4K, they took out that scene apparently.
Oh, what? Lame.
Yep.
That's a great movie.
Yes, this chat is all over the place, but we're trying to get through it for shizzle for sure. Thank you, Mitra. Yeah, I'm not sure if it went to which one of us it went to, but
yeah, I think it's going to you because it's your show.
It depends. No, it could. I mean, it depends on if they're watching it through your portal, it would go to you. If they're watching it through my portal, it would go to me.
Well, thank you, Dimitri. I appreciate it. If it went to me and if it went to Sean,
thank you. If it went to me, we appreciate it. All right, you got that one before. Actually, we didn't even address this. Okay, so so this is your clips.
I'll see the coolest intro.
Jack.
Thank you. Yeah, some people complain about the intro. Some people love the intro, but thank you
Why
so
do
much.
they not like that intro? That intro is iconic. I love that intro.
Some people think it's too loud or whatever. But thank
I
you. I
almost
appreciate it.
I almost want to play it right now, actually. Medical exam. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it. I don't know. Again, this is what they talked about the Soul Foundation. If
Yeah.
we disclose, will the UHI, or sorry, the NHI change
Well,
the
who was it that said, was it Lou Elizondo or Chris Mellon? I think it was one of those guys that said, well, if we have disclosure, what will be their reason for not interfering, being overt now? They're being covert because we haven't disclosed. But as soon as we disclose, am I out again?
Yeah, now you are. All right, that's fine. I'll keep moving. Okay. Yeah, we froze again, so. Yeah, Grant's great. I don't know. I don't know about Dr. Greer. We're gonna have to ask Jack when he gets back on. Yeah, Mike Turner, I agree. Sean Kirkpatrick, he's the guy's just doing his job, right? I think what happened with oops, I'm on the wrong. I think he's just doing his job. And I don't think they really had a budget yet because I think they were gearing up for 2024, and then Grush happened, and Kirkpatrick was kind of stuck. Susan Go, I mean, it's her job to lie, right? She's a chief Pentagon spokesperson, so. Bill Nelson was kind of an ass when he was dismissing some stuff, but all right, you're back, right?
I'm back. I've got about
All right.
10 more minutes.
Okay, so all right, let's try to get through. Let's try to blast through these. Okay, everything has conscious include. Yeah, maybe.
Everything is consciousness. That's what they.
Yeah, you don't make deals with gorillas to kidnap them. That's fair.
Be nice to the gorillas.
Yeah, but I don't think Tucker Carlson knows more than we do. I think he probably is just up to speed. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, he's also mentioned the spiritual component and the metaphysical component. And, I don't know what the alarming part is, if that's coming from the abductions or from the spiritual element to it. He didn't talk about demons or anything.
Looks like Bloodsoe's changed his tune again. Who knows, man?
Yeah, I thought it was 27, but
that might be more recent. That might be a more recent one.
My memory is bad, so I'm just gifted 5 Cosmic Road memberships. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
That's in moons in the. Let's see.
We've heard on numerous occasions that NHIs are from the cosmos, yet now they are supposed to be from here. Which is it? Yeah.
Maybe it's both.
I think there's cryptids, there's other dimensionals, there's time travelers, there's people from different planets in our reality. Classic aliens. There's it could be rogue future AI, alien. I think all of the above is possible and likely.
All right, so trust 1971 Marduk will trust Danny Sheehan over Trump.
I heard that he wasn't Lou Elizondo's lawyer anymore. I heard a rumor. I don't know if that's confirmed yet. I don't know if they fell out or what was going on there, but yeah, I need that confirmed though. So if anybody,
sat phones at 1.6 gigahertz. Yep, most space-based communications are. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody in the chat, have y'all heard anything about Danny Sheehan not being Lou's lawyer? And if can confirm or deny that, I'm very curious. I'll see the craft that operated on Brandon Fugel's gyroscopic.
Oh, that's the Joe Firmage thing.
I'm not familiar with that.
He spent a fortune investing in Joe Firmage. Joe Firmage was an internet entrepreneur. He worked at this place called US Web. In fact, I know a guy who probably used to work with him, who was probably one of his co-founders, but he got into this. He claimed he's a Mormon guy. He claimed he had this abduction experience where he was told he was part of some bloodline or whatever. But he's been working on trying to use like these gyroscopic spheres that just rotate in a certain way for any gravity. And I think Brandon Fugel like lost, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars investing in this thing. So, and you had like Wesley Clark, General Wesley Clark saying, yeah, Joe Furman is a good guy and this and that. So anyway, this person's claiming that he's actually seen this stuff at work. So,
well, that sounds fascinating. I want to know more. Did Brandy get swindled? Did they actually make this thing or some prototype of it?
I don't know. I don't know, but he was not happy about it. I know that. I think there was some interview that Green Street did of him where he went to looked at all the stuff that he had. Now Green Street's got its own, he was literally hired by the State Department to be a disinformation agent for other things. So chances are he's probably doing the same thing. The face of an object that a projectile, that a profile clan, Yeah, I think a lot of stuff you say on Skinwalker Ranch is also mental projection, right? Like you see stuff that, like the guys that with the two like dogs and tweed jackets that were smoking, right?
Yeah.
That, right?
Yeah,
like
that's a great story. I love that story. Yeah, but on the show they don't go there. They don't talk about the weird stuff. They'll talk about portals and UFOs and cattle mutilations and stuff like that, but they don't get into the woo or the dogmen.
Astro J is correct, right? If something with that level, that amount of kinetic energy, you're right. If you had a UAP that could manipulate space time, you could just open create a gravity bomb, basically.
I don't trust that information from Nanny Sheehan at all.
I don't know what to make of it. I just think we are retarded enough, excuse my language, to strap a nuke on something like that.
I don't mean to be disrespectful. I think Danny has been on your show, right?
No, he hasn't. I probably will try to reach out to him and have him on though, because he says stuff that I also think is not like if I spent $10 million and I were Lockheed Martin and I had an expedition to like the Kalahari Desert and like dug up. Funded an archaeological dig and discovered a UAP. I'm sorry, but like this eminent domain thing, go F yourself, right? Now, if the government gifted it to you, then yeah, they have every right to take it back. But Danny Sheehan's of the mind that this belongs to the Brotherhood of Humanity or whatever he calls it. And it's like, no.
I can see those are, okay. It's complicated though, so if the government gifted it, what are the, were there conditions on that gift?
I don't care. Like if you didn't obey the rules and you didn't share it, like you didn't have a bidding process and you disadvantaged one company versus others, like no, government can come and take it back.
And can you gift something like that? What are the legalities? What are, a UFO is that? Can you even legally gift that?
Well, I mean, if it was in your custody, sure.
Right? But I mean, I can see an argument how that should be in the public domain, that should not be owned by anybody. That should be for the public benefit. I can see that argument.
I mean, it's like if like a Russian satellite crashed in the United States and Bubba picked it up in his truck, right? Like, or like.
But we're talking about
where there was a nuclear reactor on the back.
We're talking about like
right?
Like a force majeure, an act of God situation. This is big. This is impacting whole of humanity kind of thing. And I can see how the public might have a right to it, but I also understand the right of private ownership, and the government shouldn't interfere in our lives. So I can see both sides of it.
All I'm saying is if a company invested its own resources to acquire the thing, government doesn't have the right to take it. If the government gifted that to somebody, then they have every right to take it back, right? But I mean, that's just my view.
I mean, I think that it's a good discussion to have, and it would be great to have the public involved in this discussion, because I don't even think this is something lawyers should be working on. This is something the public. Oh my God, am I out again?
All right, we'll get through. We'll try to get through these. I don't know if we're going to get through these. Yes, they must stop fighting for sure. That's fair. No, I think they just don't like the fact that there's something more powerful than them doing whatever it wants whenever it wants. I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, speaking of George Norrie, I'm going to be on Coast to Coast AM on January 8th. So, but it's going to be more about China. In fact, I need to send my list of 15 questions to him very soon. Yeah, it's possible. All that's possible. Yeah, I think they're still happening. But yeah, we definitely don't. Because what they did is they had a bunch of hoaxers come in and try to replicate, and they didn't quite do it the same way, but that wasn't something that the government took too kindly. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, for sure. If he is in possession of classified information, he can never talk about that stuff. They are. Add Reardon to it too. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Richard Dolan's definitely up there. Leo Springfield is up there. John Keel Keel, I think it's John Keel. Also up there. Probably Jacques Vallée, and then I'm probably missing. I can't think of a. Here we go.
Okay,
man, you just can't get a break. You joined during the perfect time though. Top 5 ufologists. I got to 4, but I can't think of. What's his name? The nuclear guy. Canadian nuclear physicist. I can see his face, but I can't. Who are your top 5?
Top 5 ufologists. I mean, Leonard Stringfield. I mean, just go to the classics.
I said he was my number 2. Who else?
Okay, yeah, Jacques Vallée.
Yep, he's on my list.
No, let's see. God, I'm springing this on me. I've got to think about that. Of 5 favorite ufologists. I want to talk about 5 favorite experiencers. That's
I should add Grant Cameron too. I didn't throw him in there. But there's there's a guy who's like I had 6. But there's a nuclear guy. He's not alive anymore. He's not around with us, but he's been like huge. But I said Richard Dolan, Leo Stringfield, Jacques Vallée, the nuclear physicist guy.
Grant
Cameron.
You're not talking about Stan. He's not.
Yes. Yes.
Was he a nuclear physicist? Okay. Yeah. I knew he was some sort of science background. But yeah, Stanton Friedman was great. I love Stanton, and I'd include him too. He really pioneered the research into Area 51.
Okay, and we actually covered this one. The Merkaba looks like Marcus.
Yeah, no, you're bang on, and we're behind in the. I've got to go, guys. My wife is going to bed. And it's 11 o'clock here.
All right, I'm going to continue racing through these things, and then
Greer. Don't get me started on Greer. I have a nuanced take on Greer. It's not all hate. He's done some good, bringing forth good whistleblowers and popularizing CE5, but he spread so much disinformation, saying there's no alien abductions. It's all the government. Yes, there are government abductions, but it is a vast, huge phenomenon, and it is clearly
Yeah, I mean,
not
could you
all.
imagine how much money they would have to spend to do that, and why would they waste resources doing it?
Yeah, and Greer's idea that it's all for disinformation to get people afraid of the phenomenon, it's a psyop. How does that make sense? They wipe people's mind. If they wanted people to be afraid of the phenomenon, they wouldn't wipe people's mind. They wouldn't be clandestine about it.
Right.
Anyway, it doesn't make any sense. I could go on about Greer, but man, Sean, it's been a lot of fun, and thank you guys for joining me. I love this year in wrap up. We got a little
I
distracted
know.
by
It's
other
just like
stuff.
there's not enough time. I'm like at the very beginning, we're like, do we have enough material? And it's just like, yes, we do. Apparently,
We do. I love it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no. I mean, we do this together. You're also streaming, so like it's always good when you and I get on the podcasts
That's
and
right.
and chat for a little bit and catch up. We'll do many more. next year.
That's right, man. That's right. Fist bump.
All right, brother.
All right.
I got to get
All
my
right.
camera. There we go.
All right. Later, guys.
All right. Good night, brother.
Good night.
All right. I'm going to try to race through, make sure everybody. Okay. Yeah. Look, I've heard weirder things. So thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's probably Courtney Brown. Which is kind of interesting. That guy has an interesting background story. And there's also some relation to the whole Heaven's Gate thing too, but I'm not gonna go there tonight. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Look, I've been to the adjacent property, and I actually, I mean, you could say the wind blew a chair at me in the fire. I was sleeping by a fire, and it, you know, I just had a thought in my head, and almost immediately there's a huge gust of wind that blew this chair into the fire right at me. So there's something to it. It's pretty, there's some very positive energy during the day and very negative energy at night. That was my experience. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, it's got to be the Cosmic Road intro. That's very 80s. Yeah, or that's commonly how angels are described in the Bible too. Um, yep. Man, you guys got a lot of comments. I've had like 3 precognitive dreams since September. Like I had a dream of, and usually they're about stuff that is just really weird, um, and like atypical. Like I'll dream about somebody I never dream about. So I had a dream about the philosophy of Ted Kaczynski, and then I woke up the next day and he was trending on Twitter. I'm like, I had a dream about this philosophy, and it turned out he died that day. Like stuff like that. There's like some weird stuff that's related to dreaming. But if you start writing down and recording your dreams, you will have precognitive dreams. I mean, they won't be significant, but or they might be. I don't know. But I haven't had anything that was super significant, but like really weird things like that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I think Jack already thanked you, so thank you, Kyle. But well, I mean, it could be that they just have like an outpost here or something. Who knows, right? Or maybe 20 different kinds have 20 different outposts. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to interact. I don't know. Maybe there was a civilization more advanced than us, and then there was a cataclysm that happened in between. Many different explanations behind that. Yeah, the problem is this Book of Enoch is not in like the Catholic Bible or the King James Bible. It was taken out during one of the councils that they had. Huh. No, I think it is called like if you just Google it, I think it is called the Red Star Regulus. I don't know why it would be a blue star, but I can look into it. Oh, who keeps dropping information? Jack, me, or somebody else? Hmm. Yeah, they kind of are. Yeah. Yep. Jack will see this very end. Huh. Yeah, there's these two dog men that showed up to somebody at Skinwalker Ranch. It's like a perception thing, but it was absurd. They were like smoking cigars, dressed in tweed jackets, and there's just a lot of things that there's a consciousness element to a lot of this stuff, to a lot of the phenomena. A lot of it is how you perceive things. It's just as much as what is actually really there. Yeah, that's definitely a very biblical image. Yeah, I mean, I've heard all sorts of different stories, whether or not any of them were real. Like Lynn Buchanan reported on my channel that, like people had approached him who were escaped slaves from who escaped to Earth, and they were worried about um, genetic markers and stuff like that because the genes that they would have would not DNA would have elements of non-human, well, not non-human, but non-Earth, non-terrestrial human. So there's also stories of people being shown hybrid babies and stuff like that. So imagine if you have a UFO crash and they find um, evidence of human DNA on board, right? Like, it could seem pretty creepy. Huh. Yeah, they probably are nuts. Yeah, there's plenty of claims. When David Morehouse did a remote viewing, or the remote viewing unit from Project Stargate. They went on TDY, temporary duty, to Pueblo Alto because they're getting reports of these craft flying into the mesas and stuff like that. They believe they had done a bunch of remote viewing sessions. They believe there are bases in the Southwest. Whether or not there are, I don't know, but that was one of what remote viewers were seeing. Hmm. Interesting. Yep. Thank you. I must have like a mountain of comments to get through. Yes, Stanton Friedman. Yeah, I've seen Contact. What was that most important thing? You got to tell us, Samuel. Oh, Through a Glass Darkly. That's my channel. Oh yes, you guys already got my back. Huh? Even spelled with AL instead of EL. Interesting. Yeah, he didn't. That's right. He absolutely didn't believe Bob Lazar. Yeah, Triton. There's so many different things that, and that's why there's all these communities that coalesce around these things and try to ignore everything else. But I think it's all related. Huh. Are you talking about? I'm assuming you're talking about Greer, but I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying all this stuff is real, but I'm also not saying it's not real. Who knows? I don't know. Like, it would take a lot to do that, and it would be kind of a grotesque waste of resources. Huh. Interesting. Uh-oh. I hope people can still hear me. Um. All right. I think I'm gonna. All right. Chrome gave me a hard time now, so my apologies. Um. Just look for Courtney Brown. That's the guy you have to look for. Um. Huh. That's creepy. I can only imagine. I've tried it 3 times, and the last time I tried it was at Skinwalker Ranch, and it doesn't it doesn't work for me. But maybe I also am terrible at meditating, so yeah. I mean, I would be careful with CE5. That's all. I have not looked into the super soldier stuff. Oh yeah, I think that's I think that's definitely an aspect of the phenomena. Okay. Yeah, I had to jump off because everything froze. So hopefully it wasn't gone. Okay. Woo. All right. I think I got through everything. Okay. Yes. All right. Um. Oh, for good Christ's sake, the slides that I had loaded in are not okay. Yeah. Good night, Rich Universe, and I appreciate you. Okay, so I have one last thing. If people are interested, I don't. It's just about my channel. Maybe I should just hold it for right now because this is also Jack's uh, live stream. So I'll just hold on to it. I don't think I need to go through and talk about the state of the channel because it should just be me. I shouldn't hijack Jack's live stream as well. So, all right, I think I'm going to give it another minute or so, unless people have any further questions. Yeah, thank you, Astro. Thank you, Gon. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it's look again. It's possible, right? Huh? It's possible. Thank you, graphic design for free. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe there's something to take from that. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. Or not. I don't know. It happens to me quite a lot, though. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think now is probably a good enough time for me to say thank you, everyone. It's been a great year, and here's to many more live streams and interviews and good stuff like that going forward. So thank you very much, and good night. And this is the part when I get to play some of the. Oh, hold on. Two comments. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Yep. Perhaps. All right. Let's see. All right. Well, good night, everyone, and have a happy new year when you get to that point. Oh, just when I'm about to get off. Yeah, yeah, we're out. I like this part though, where I get to play some music. So, um, yep, you did. All right, all right. Good night, everyone. See you next year.
breaking news.